God is on the move. And so are we. We've been saying it and singing it and stomping it all Advent. And in a sense, it all comes down to this moment. In our scripture readings over these past weeks, we have heard the longings of the people for God's presence to be made known, for God to tear open the heavens and come down. We've heard of one prophet calling for a way in the wilderness, a highway for all people to return home from the pain of exile. We've heard another prophet dreaming of all kinds of divine movement, good news for the oppressed, healing for the brokenhearted, liberty to the captives, and release to the prisoners. We've heard still another prophet pointing to the light shining in the darkness. We've heard this chorus of voices, all pointing to a God who refuses to sit still and watch while the world and its people suffer. And from all those many faithful, hopeful, longing voices, we turn to one last witness, one last prophet this morning. We turn to a young, unsuspecting woman living in a village so small and insignificant that it was left off of most maps of its time. The God who has been on the move for all time now comes looking for Mary. The life that will begin in Mary and slowly grow like any other human life will have immense, earth-shaking consequences for the world. Later, she will sing about all that God is doing in and through her. God has shown strength with his arm, she will say. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He's filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. Later on, Mary will glimpse this grand truth that the child in her womb will turn the world upside down. As Christians, that is what we believe is happening here. In Mary's belly are the stirrings of God's great movement to heal and reconcile the world. We're going to sing a version of Mary's bold and brave song in a few moments. But first, there is this moment we just heard about outside, where there is this conversation between a young woman and an angel. There's so much that we could wonder about in this story. Questions about angels, and about a virgin birth, and about just what it means for the power of the Most High to overshadow someone. But this morning, maybe it's enough just to wonder about this, that God's intention to heal and reconcile the world, that great plan, should come to rest on one individual human life. We humans are so fragile, so flawed, so prone to human error. We're fickle and anxious and limited in our vision. Wouldn't it make more sense for God to come up with another, more reliable way to be on the move? Maybe. Except that when you think about it, this is the way that God has always chosen to act. Showing up at Sarah and Abraham's tent with a dream of blessing. Interrupting Moses' life with a calling to freedom. Summoning Miriam to lead the people in praise. Prompting Isaiah to speak hope to brokenhearted exiles. In every case, this restless God has showed up at the doorstep of individual persons with a calling beyond themselves, to partner with God in moving the world toward justice and toward joy. And in every case, in every one of these cases, it only works when the person takes a step. So here God is, at Mary's doorstep. We can debate just how much say she had in the matter. Gabriel's words certainly make it sound like God's plans for Mary are pretty clear. He doesn't exactly ask Mary what she thinks about all of this. But I choose to believe that Mary's response is fully her own. Because the God I know doesn't coerce, doesn't manipulate, doesn't force. The God I know calls and waits for our reply. I don't know where, but I once read an author imagining the whole company of heaven holding their collective breath when Gabriel was done with his whole speech announcing all that God had in mind for Mary. God and all the angels looking down and waiting during that pause before Mary spoke. All of creation wondering if this young woman would accept the calling to birth Jesus into the world. All hoping that she would say, yes. Can you hear the moment that way? Can you hear it that way for Mary 2,000 years ago? And even more, can you hear it that way in your own life? Can you hear the company of heaven waiting with genuine wonder and hope that you too will accept the calling to walk with God, who is still on the move to bring healing and reconciliation in this day, in this world, in this moment? Can you hear the breathless pause, the silent hoping that you too will say yes?